Mustang. It's not just a car, it's a legend. From the classic fastbacks of the 60s to the tire-shredding GT500s of today, the Mustang has always stood for raw, unapologetic American muscle. But what if I told you that some of the most mind-blowing Mustangs ever built never actually made it to the showroom floor? Or worse, they were built for other markets, hidden away, or just scrapped altogether before the public ever got to touch them? Yeah, these are the 6 craziest Mustangs that we never got. And trust me, after you hear about some of these, you're going to wonder what Ford was thinking of keeping them from us. 1. The Mustang Mach 2 mid-engine concept. Now imagine this, a Mustang with the engine behind your head. No, this isn't some weird Shelby fever dream. In 1967, Ford actually built a mid-engine Mustang concept called the Mach 2. Ford engineers were dead serious too. This wasn't just a showpiece. They had a 289 cubic inch V8 dropped right behind the driver's seat. This was long before the Ford GT or C8 Corvette. Ford was already thinking about taking the Mustang in a radical, exotic direction. But here's the catch. It was too ahead of its time. Ford executives got cold feet, unsure how loyal Mustang buyers would react to such a drastic shift. So they pulled the plug. Only 2 prototypes were built. To this day, Mustang fans look at the Mach 2 as the ultimate what if. 2. The Mustang GT350R by Saleen with a supercar soul. We've all heard of Saleen Mustangs. They're fast, they're loud, and they scream performance. But in 1990, Saleen built something far beyond just a tuned Mustang. They created the GT350R, a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive supercar built from Mustang DNA. That's right, another attempt to put the Mustang's heart in the back of the car. This thing had an aluminum chassis, a 5.0-liter V8, and styling that was more countach than Cobra. It looked like it came from the future. Saleen planned to sell it in limited numbers as America's answer to Europe's elite. But the price? It was expected to hit 6 figures. That killed the dream fast. Between the cost, complexity, and the economic climate of the time, the GT350R faded into obscurity. 3. The Ford Mustang Cobra R 2000 with a 5.4-liter monster. This one came so close. The 2000 Cobra R was one of the most extreme, track-ready Mustangs ever built. But here's the twist. Most people never got the chance to own one. Why? Because only 300 were built, and they were not street legal in several states due to noise regulations and lack of comfort features. No rear seats, no air conditioning, no radio, just a brutally raw 5.4-liter DOHC 8 pumping out 385 horsepower at a time when most Mustangs were still hovering around 260. It was a beast designed for one thing, track domination. 4. The Australian Ford Mustang R-Spec, supercharged right from the factory. Okay, this one stings. In 2020, Australians got something we never did. A factory-backed, supercharged Mustang called the R-Spec. Built in partnership with Herod Performance, the R-Spec came with a Ford Performance supercharger that bumped the GT's 5.0-liter V8 up to a staggering 710 horsepower. That's Hellcat territory straight from the dealer. This wasn't an aftermarket hack job either. Ford Australia certified it, warrantied it, and sold it like a regular Mustang. The suspension was upgraded, the cooling system was beefed up, and it even came with unique styling touches. It was like the GT500, but with manual transmission and even more personality. So why didn't we get it in the US? Blame emissions laws, production priorities, and market strategy. But the kicker? It was limited to just 500 units, and they sold out immediately. Americans were left drooling as Aussie gearheads ripped around with a Mustang that had GT500 power and GT350 feel. Wild. 5. The 1980s McLaren Mustang M81. Before McLaren became synonymous with British supercars, there was a strange little project in the early 1980s. It was called the McLaren M81 Mustang, and yes, it was built in the US in partnership with McLaren North America. Based on the humble Fox body, this thing was a total anomaly. It came with a turbocharged inline-4, custom bodywork, Recaro seats, and a crazy orange paint job that screamed 80s attitude. Here's the weird part. The M81 was supposed to kick off a new performance image for Ford. It was expensive for its time, and the Turbo 4 produced just 175 horsepower. But it was lightweight, sharp, and had handling upgrades that put it miles ahead of the stock Mustang. Unfortunately, it was priced way too high, and only 10 were ever sold. 6. The Mustang shooting brake, yes, the wagon. Yes, you heard that right, a Mustang station wagon. And before you laugh it off, just look it up. Ford toyed with the idea of a Mustang shooting brake as early as the late 60s, and various coach builders even created working prototypes. It wasn't just a Photoshop fantasy. Real prototypes were made and shown to execs. Some were even approved for evaluation. These long-roof Mustangs looked incredibly sleek. You had the same long hood and short deck profile of the coupe, but with a hatchback or wagon-style rear. The Mustang shooting brake was meant to appeal to drivers who wanted muscle and practicality. Something you could take to the track and take on a road trip with the dog and some luggage. Ultimately, it was killed for fear of diluting the Mustang's image. Ford executives worried that a family-friendly Mustang would alienate its core buyer base. But man, in today's world of high-performance crossovers and fast wagons like the Audi RS6, the Mustang's shooting brake would have made total sense. Maybe it's time for a revival? The Mustangs that could have ruled looking back, it's almost painful to think about how many insane Mustang variants were either scrapped, hidden, or released in such small numbers that we never really got to enjoy them. Whether it was the futuristic mid-engine experiments like the Mach 2, the Aussie-only R-Spec beast, or the misunderstood genius of the McLaren M81, these Mustangs could have changed the entire game. They weren't just about power, they were bold experiments, risky ideas. Some flopped, some were ahead of their time. But all of them remind us of just how versatile the Mustang platform truly is. It's not just an American muscle car, it's a canvas for innovation, from rear-engine layouts to wagons and turbocharged rockets. So here's a question for all the Mustang fans out there. If you could bring one of these back to production today, which one are you choosing? The Mach 2? The Aussie R-Spec? Drop your pick in the comments and let's stir up the debate. And hey, if you enjoyed this trip down Forbidden Mustang Lane, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the muscle car history they didn't want you to know about.